a room, and it may not be a dining room, but if you have a room in your house that doesn't serve you, maybe it's a guest room. Years ago, I had a client who was a writer, and she said, Lori, I need you to come in and help me find a place where I can write. And I said, all right, how hard can this be, right? So she takes me into her 2-bedroom condo, beautiful, lovely, very, very nice. And we're walking through, and I said, okay, so who else lives with you? She said, no one. I said, oh, okay, good. So she takes me into the guest room, and I said, how often do you have guests? And she said, never. And I said, no, I guess you didn't understand. How often, do you have guests? And she said, never. And I said, no. How many times has somebody actually slept in this bed? And she looked at me like I had 3 hands. She said, never. She said, we moved here almost 10 years ago. She said, I don't like it when people stay with me. I have company come down and they stay at the hotel down the street. Nobody stays here. And I said to her, well, I think that I found the place for your office. And she said, Lori, it's a guest room. Here's the thing, folks. It stops being a guest room when there are no guests. Okay? And so, a lot of times, I have been the one, the catalyst, who is responsible for changing phantom dining rooms into offices or libraries or kids' playrooms or yoga studios or whatever. Your space has to fit you, not the architect who designed it, okay? And so if you have a space that you don't use regularly, I want you to really consider what that space should be for you, okay? So do you use it on a regular basis? The next definition of clutter is do you use it? Do you need it? I'm sorry, you need it. Do you need it? And what I mean by that is, do you need it to make your life work well? Okay? We all need pens and pencils, right? How many of you are writing with a pen or pencil right now? Yep. You need them, right? Do you need 7,000 pens and pencils? One in every nook and cranny, in every junk drawer, in the bottom of your purse, all over. Really? Do we need them to make our life work well? How many of you have had past lives? And what I'm talking about, I'm not talking about being Cleopatra in a past life. That would be really cool, but not what I'm talking about tonight. I'm talking about where you've actually gone through phases in your life where you look back on it now and you say, I was really a different person then, right? Most of us have. If you have achieved any age at all, most likely you have changed over the course of your life, right? If I was to tell you that at one time in my life, I actually lived in an old order Mennonite community, the black stockings and the black bonnet and no electricity, the whole 9 yards, you'd be like, that's not true, but it is. If I was to tell you that at one time in my life, I was a nationally ranked tournament fighter, and I traveled around the country and fought in tournaments and kicked some man butt most of the time, you'd look at me and say, really? Are you sure? You really need to do a little bit more of that, don't you? We've all gone through phases in our life, right? If you were to come into my house today and open my closet and you saw 25 karate uniforms hanging there. Now keep in mind, now I have 5 children, okay? The closest that I get to actually doing karate is threatening my husband if he leaves the toilet seat up in the middle of the night one more time, he will die. And that's on tape, honey. And so, if you came into my house and you opened my closet and you saw 25 karate uniforms in there, wouldn't you be like, who is she kidding? Girlfriend, that is not who you are anymore, right? But how many of you have mementos of past lives taking up precious, precious space in your homes? I want you to think of your homes like Manhattan, okay? The garage is like New Jersey, okay? But Manhattan is valuable real estate. It is important, and the things that are in your present, current life should fill Manhattan. Everything else can kind of be moving out towards the suburbs and eventually go away. That should be the plan. Do you need it to make your life work well? The easiest way to figure this out is to be really, really honest with yourself. Is to say, right now, today, who am I? What do I look like, actually? Because if you came into my house and you saw, a whole closet full of miniskirts, honey, those days are long gone, right? But we have to be willing to be honest with ourselves and say, this is who I am. How many of you have cookbooks? How many of you are Martha Stewart? See, I'm of the belief that even Martha Stewart is not Martha Stewart, okay? She has a whole crew of little Marthas making sure that she looks good, right? Do you know that the average house has 6 to 8 cookbooks in it? 6 to 8? That's average, 6 to 8. Do you know that the average cookbook contains between 200 and 600 recipes? Do you know that if you were to cook a new recipe once a week for the rest of your natural life, you are not going to get through 8 cookbooks? Not going to happen. A lot of us buy cookbooks for the same reason that we buy a lot of things. We buy them because we think, I could be that person. If I buy Martha Stewart's basket, I may turn into Martha Stewart. Doesn't happen very often. I would much prefer, if you choose 1 or 2 cookbooks that you really use, or that, even better, you create your own out of recipes that you are continually accessing. Now, my stepmother, in-law, is a cook, is a real cook. And she has cookbooks. But the woman needs it because she cooks a new recipe probably 3 times a week because she gets bored. And in my life, when she cooks, I don't even ask her what's in it because I know that she's going to say things that I don't understand. When she starts calling spices certain things and, oh, she braised this, that sounds naughty to me. I don't want to know how to braise a pork thing. Just really not into it. And so my sister-in-laws will say, oh, how did you do that? Oh, that's, and pretend that they understand. I don't even pretend anymore. I'm like, that is so over my head and not who I am. You have to be willing to be honest about your life. Because otherwise, all you're doing is you're filling your house with somebody else's expectations of who you should be. Okay? Do you need it? Do you use it? Here's the third parameter. And I hate this one. I hate it. Because it's the one that everybody uses as the loophole in the decluttering conversation. Okay? And I've thought about, just skipping it entirely, but that's really not fair. It is my job to give you all of the information. The third parameter is, do you love it? Now, I want to clarify this. When I say, do you love it, I mean, does it make your soul move? Now, here's the thing. Every single one of us has been somewhere, seen an object, touched an object, picked up an object, been in the presence of something that literally moved our soul. That we thought, I want that in my life all of the time. It could be a picture, it could be a piece of furniture, or we just think, mine was a sofa. I saw it in the furniture. I was doing a seminar at a furniture store, saw it, and literally called the salesman over because I'm scared somebody else is going to see it. I'm like, come here. Let me buy this from you. And, we've all seen something that we've had to have, that we're sure if it doesn't come home with us, we will die, right? The thing about that is you can't fake it. It just happens. It's a natural thing. You see something and you resonate with it, and it has to be a part of your being, right? For some people, it's even a color, a pink color. They say, oh, that has to be on my walls, right? But you